jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Happy Tuesday, everyone. Once again, you're tuned in to World Combat Sports. Salute, and hopefully everyone is having a blessed day. You know what it is, man, with another hot topic session. First of all, big shout out and salute to the supporters, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate the new subs. Y'all continue to pass the word and sub to the channel. Like you know what it is when it comes to WCS. You know what it is, man. It ain't no debate, and you know what it is. So I have a various amount of topics to speak on this morning. Very interesting topics to kick it off. I want to start with, the current reigning defending middleweight world champion Jermall Charlo. Now, whenever the Charlos are on the scene, it can be sunshine or it can be rain. It depends on how they feeling, how they energy, their vibe, whatever the topic is they speaking on. That's what it is with the Charlo brothers, period. You know what I'm saying? The good thing about it, of course, is this is about Jermall Charlo, not so much Jermall in this scenario. You know what I'm saying? This is Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo has been known to be more of a carefree individual, composed, level-headed. But that doesn't mean we forget that he's a boxer too. So being that he does lace up the gloves, it's gonna come a point when he says some things that we just don't like too. Or maybe not. We may like them or not. So let me give you a starting point on this whole thing. You know that it's a lot that's been talked about when it comes to Terrence Crawford, especially when he called out, he said basically when he defeat Errol Spence, he was going to call out Jermall Charlo. And quickly, Jermall Charlo has been on record, especially on Brian Custer's podcast, The Last Stand podcast. He was saying that, Terrence Crawford needs to be quiet, take less money, be the challenger, pretty much take what they're going to give him. We remember that, right? So he pretty much said the light boys, referring to Terrence Crawford, want to move up to 47 and face him at 54. He didn't feel respected about the challenge that was being thrown out to him, especially coming from Terrence Crawford, because there's a story that's going on right now that we're trying to make come to fruition between his stablemate Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. So of course he's going to reside, not just because Errol Spence is his stablemate, but both of them reside in the same regional footprint. They both reside in Texas right now. So it's a band of brothers. It's a on the strength of loyalty, so to speak, our last. And that's what they got going on. All right. So moving past that, Crawford has made it perfectly clear that he's looking to challenge himself once again by even moving up to a division to face Jermall Charlo, which is great because that's what we like the sport. We like the sport to be challenging. We want to commend these fighters for taking challenges. And you know what I'm saying? If the fight can possibly made, then guess what? We want to go to the fight if we can to see it play out. Plus, it builds on the legacy of the fighter. That's what it's for. Fighters building their legacy. Get to that point when when you become eligible for the Boxing Hall of Fame, you're inducted. No questions, nothing asked. It's no reservations. It's no doubts. It's no freaking discussions gonna be on the YTC. So I should so be in the Hall of Fame. Should they ain't? This is the time where you strike out all that doubt and you challenge those big names that will continue to build your legacy. And then when those individuals get together at the top and it comes time to run these ballots, they have no question that you should be in the Hall of Fame. So let's move up to brother Jermall. You remember when Jermall, right? He started to get put on the spot because he was calling out Canelo. He wanted to fight Canelo. He's a 160 pounder. He wanted to fight Canelo. He wanted the big ticket. He wanted the paycheck. Once again, I can play devil's advocate and say, okay, Maul was calling out Canelo because Canelo was top pound for pound fighter. He not only wants the payday, but he wants to try to see if he can put Canelo on his resume, his legacy, just like Dimitri Bivol did. The only thing about it is that Jermall Charlo hasn't gotten to that point where his name is big enough based off his competition. Now, it's a very unique dynamic that goes on in boxing. Sometimes you have the names, they really haven't fought nobody, but they popular as hell. And then you have the ones who are popular and they demand you fight somebody. Everybody knows who the Charlos are. In boxing, you know who the Charlos are. But it's almost like, oh man, we're waiting on them to face, this person, that person, in order for them to get this person. Well, first of all, when you put your name in the same company as Canelo Alvarez, and he's not looking for you, then people look at it like, what are you doing? Okay, boom, let it go. So Canelo didn't want to accept any challenge from Charlo. So what's next for Jermall Charlo? If you're planning on relocating from 160 to 68, then of course people have questions. First question is, why you never fought anybody significant in the middleweight division, like a Triple G or the Demetrius Andrade? Okay, boom. Then if you have plans to think about moving up to 68, which was floating around, like a lost feather in the breeze at one point in time, that has all but just squandered and blown off into the distance, and no one can locate where the fuck it went. Because it would have been good if he moved up to 68, but then you have a hungry monster up there, and David Benavidez, who has called you out, and the only thing we've heard is excuses after excuses. He's too big to be in the division, and you pretty much told us that you're 160 pounder. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? But David Benavidez, your comments to him that he was much bigger than 68. So he should go on up the light heavyweight. He should move up the heavyweight. And the boxing fans are listening to this, and they're trying to digest, like, what? Why are we not hearing the same energy? Like, what's going on? What are you talking about, bro? Like, this is a credible three-time WBC champion, and you acting like you don't want any other smoke. So now, moving full steam ahead, Jermall Charlo gets put in there with the Selecki. And it's crazy. Most of the time when people mention his name with a Selecki, people wasn't really looking for you to fight Selecki. They didn't see that as a name that was going to catapult you to a whole nother level of advancement, especially where you at right now. You're a 2-division champion. And once again, you're a popular name. Your brother just won 154-pound unified undisputed titles. He is crowned. No question about that. But now it seemed like you made the initial move from 54 to further advance your career. But now you stalled out. You really haven't did too much at 60. But little brother, as you called him, he did. He finally crossed over the threshold and separated himself from you. He's no longer in your shadow. He's did something that you may not ever accomplish. He became undisputed world champion. Now, Jermall Charlo is on Brian Custer's Last Stand podcast once more, and he's coming up with new information. That new information is not what we would expect, that he's about to challenge David Benavidez at 168. He's about to challenge any contender at 168. Anybody can get it. Like Adrian Broner say, anybody can get it at 68. Caucasian, the Mexicans, the Blaxicans, the Africans, anybody can get it. We didn't hear that from Jermall Charlo. He's very apprehensive about moving up to 168 pounds. I'm just being real. He's very apprehensive about that. So, on podcast, let's play the audio on what Jermall Charlo has just mentioned.
Out there that we haven't been talking about, that we'd be surprised about. You say, no, I've always wanted to fight this cat.
Terrence Crawford.
Oh, how about that?
You fight him?
How about
I'll fight you, Terrence. Yeah. I'll come back down to 54 and fight Terrence Crawford. Yeah.
Out there that we haven't been talking about, that we'd be surprised about. You say, no, I've always wanted to fight this cat.
Terrence Crawford.
Oh, how about that?
You fight him? I'll fight you, Terrence. Yeah. I'll come back down to 54 and fight Terrence Crawford. Yeah.
Now let's do this. Let's just have a moment to process that, right? That was Jermall Charlo, the current WBC middleweight champion, committing to the people that he would drop back down to 154, a previous division for which he was world champion. Him and his brother reigned in that division at one point in time together. He's willing to drop back down to face Terrence Crawford. All right. He's willing to drop back down to face Terrence Crawford. Now, hopefully, those of you that's listening, y'all can kind of understand where I'm about to go with this. Jermall Charlo, middleweight, is unwilling to go to 68, but he want to drop back down to 54 to challenge Terrence Crawford, who campaigned at welterweight and who's never had a fight and answered the bell at 154 pounds. He campaigns at 147 pounds welterweight, but he's never had a fight at 154. Now, those of you that understand the rhythm and flow, you know where I'm about to go with this. Jermall Charlo was criticizing, ridiculing Terrence Crawford for attempting to take a risk to fight him in a higher division. He was willing to move up from 47 to 54. He was criticized. Now that you have a brother, a family member, boxer, your compeer at the end of the day, Jermall Charlo wants to move down to your division, Jermall Charlo, for a fight with Terrence Crawford, who's at the lower division. So they want to have a catchweight. Now, of course, there's many ways I can go with this, but on one side, I know deep down inside his brother's not going to criticize Jermall Charlo for moving down, because he feels like, well, his brother ain't doing shit at middleweight. You know what I'm saying? Gennady Golovkin just unified with Yoel Murata. Who gives a fuck? And then we know damn well Charlo ain't fighting the WBO champion. It's out the question. So really, who do he have? Selecki? Ain't nobody trying to see that shit. So we're not going to hear criticism from Jermall Charlo about his brother Maul moving to his division that he's reigning defending and fight a Terrence Crawford. He might even praise him. He said, "Oh yeah, brother." He said he'll fuck you up at 54. That's probably the rhythm that you're gonna get, the energy. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of temperature we're gonna be on. He's gonna start talking about, "Oh yeah, you want to come in here, fight my brother, fight my brother." But it should be criticism to your own brother to say, "What the fuck are you doing?" If you really want to establish legacy, we all understand that. We truly understand that Terrence Crawford has that legacy already. Terrence Crawford is a big name in the sport. But when you're talking about coming down from middleweight division to challenge at a lower weight, a fighter who has never contended in that class, some people are going to say, "Well, Charlo, you said that David Benavidez don't offer shit. He don't have nothing to offer. There's nothing on the table. How does it benefit me, Mark Charlo, to fight David Benavidez 168 pounds outside his ability to be that monster?" You know what I'm saying? How do I benefit outside of David Benavidez potentially whooping my ass? But then you come down, you come out, and you sequester freaking Terrence Crawford to come to a division where Terrence Crawford don't have a belt. So Terrence Crawford doesn't have a belt to move up to 54 at all. Neither will you or Terrence Crawford, if that fight was made, be fighting for a belt. Y'all wouldn't be fighting for a belt. Jermall Charlo has all the belts. And I seriously doubt you'll be fighting for no interim title or no goddamn WBA regular title, none of that. You would just be fighting just to be fighting. You would just be fighting for bragging rights. You would be fighting for the second point I was going to make, just legacy. It wouldn't be a belt. It would just be a legacy fight. Because in a sharp point, Terrence Crawford has a legacy. Jermall Charlo has a legacy. It doesn't matter which one has the better legacy. Mark Charlo is a 2-division champion. Terrence Crawford is a 3-division champion. So they have Wall Street when it comes to legacy. But my point being, in the scheme of everything, especially at this point their age is, I would think that Jermall Charlo would be willing to step up into a weight class for which his weight sustains itself. You are sustaining middleweight, and you can sustain and walk around as super middleweight. But you want to come down and fight a lighter guy when your brother just criticized him, Crawford, for trying to move up to fight you. I don't get where I don't get why Jermall Charlo hasn't came out and put a tweet or talked to his brother and say, "Bro, what are you doing? Like, come on, man. You tweak it. What are you going to benefit from Crawford? You the bigger guy, and you want to then move down here, rehydrate up to like 168 on a guy who hasn't fought 54 at all, who's going to be much smaller than you. You know what I'm saying? It's almost going to be like a Rolly Romero, Tank Davis type of situation. Because we all know Rolly looked very, very huge when he answered that bell to begin the first round. He looked huge. But I mean, that's just my question. Like, man, we got to hold these cats accountable for the stupidity. Mel Charlo is not going to criticize his brother. Then Mark Charlo understands his brother was criticizing Terrence Crawford, but yet he want to be the one to say, "I'll fight you at 54 because my brother has other obligations. He's going to be tied down with Tim Tszyu, but I come back down because I'm too fearful of going up there facing David Benavidez face to face. I would rather meet him in a setting where neither one of us on the fight card and we have an altercation that breaks into the social media attention span, and then say, "Oh yeah, I'd rather push and shove and all that when we in civilian attire." But nah, when it comes to signing the contract, and contending at 168, I don't want to do it. I don't want to fight you, David Benavidez, at 168. But I go fight Crawford at 54. I don't appreciate it at all. That's not one of those fights I say, you know what? I really want to see that. That's a legacy fight. I really want. Why? I look at it like, okay, if Crawford is going to move up to accept the challenge, we need to understand where he's coming from with this. And this is what he replied to this. He put a tweet out. You know what I'm saying? This is Crawford's reply. That the future boxing. You coming down to fight me at 154, crying emoji. Bro, I know you would. I believe you too. And then he said what he said about his brother. That's what Terrence Crawford replied to Jermall Charlo. He said he believed, Jermall Charlo come down this motherfucking fight. He believed him. Why wouldn't he? I mean, this dude is campaigning at super middleweight when he's weighing in. Plus, when he's weighing in for a fight, when he answered the initial bell, he opened up the fight. His weight is definitely probably low 70s. Probably high 60s, low 70s, guaranteed. Jermall Charlo looked big when he's in between camp. He looks like he's a big dude in between camp. So for him to say, you know what, Errol got this. Errol did well with his nutritionist. I like what I'm saying. So you having a lot of fighters now depend on the nutritional aspect instead of just a physical aspect of cutting weight. Now they finally learning shit that I knew years ago. Now they get into the fitness aspect of learning that if you eat clean, even though you're not going to like it and it's not going to taste good, and you have to eat so many meals a day to keep that weight down and put that protein in your system, they're finding out, you know what? With the amount of calories I'm burning, and if I eat right, I can drop this without being in the sauna for an hour and a half a day to try to cut this weight. Now they really, digging into the nutritional part about cutting weight. So this is going to allow fighters who are pretty much walking around at a higher, heavier weight to be able to want to contend at lower weights because they feel they have found the riddle. They have found the piece to the puzzle. But it's not. It's been around forever and a day. The only thing about this puzzle is an acquired taste. You really have to settle in mentally to put this puzzle piece together. Because, you're not eating food that you're going to like, that you believe is tantalizing. You know what I'm saying? The core of the food is not going to appease you like that. You're just going to be like, oh my God. Man, I do not like the way this tastes. Because to drop all that weight, you got to have food that consists of low sodium, low salt. You have to deal with specific vegetables. You know what I'm saying? You have to have your food weighed. It definitely have to be scaled out. You have to make sure your carbs is scaled, your meat is scaled. You really have to make sure those measurements are on point. And that's why they leave all that up to a nutritionist. So if you got nutritionists that know what the hell they're doing, they know how to put that measuring tape on you. They know your body. You're able to get the food that you want. And these nutritionists can cook, if they can cook now. Because sometimes you have a chef that's a nutritionist too now. All right. You just don't. This ain't the culinary arts where, okay, we just cook food. No, you have to have people to keep a test weight, to monitor the weight, along with the protein. It has to be a motherfucking dynamic, a metric system. You know what I'm saying? This shit is an art. You have to learn all in between. You have to be able to run the numbers. Man, you have to take the BMI, the BF. You have to really stay attuned to this shit. So Jermall Charlo might be at the point where he's saying, you know what? I think I can make 154 if I get with the nutritionist. It's gonna hurt, but I think I can do it. Oh, it's gonna hurt like a bitch. It's gonna hurt. You got to come in at the limit of 154. But besides that, it's gonna hurt your credibility a lot more because you keep putting yourself in a whirlwind of contradiction, my brother. You know what I'm saying? You say you're a 160 pounder and you won't move up to 68, but yet you're willing to move down to 154 and kill yourself to fight a lighter fighter. I just don't appreciate it. I'm not saying I don't respect it. I just don't appreciate it. Real talk. Like, bro, I just don't appreciate what you got going on with this. I don't know why you won't just face David Benavidez and be cool. You know, because that's definitely going to have you out there. If you go in there and defeat David Benavidez, that's definitely going to put you in a whole nother circle of popularity when it comes to boxing. Moving on. Let's see how that works, though. Because we've had boxers in the past that attempt to challenge themselves by moving down, and they feel that they can make the weight. And sometimes it works out for them, and sometimes it don't. Now we have, Sebastion Fundora. All of a sudden, once again, the link, the denominator to this is Jermall Charlo. So this just goes to show you the 47-pound, 54 is hot. You know what I'm saying? 35, 47, 54, hot. The division's hot right now. Very, very hot. We don't know what the fuck is going on with 60 and 75. We don't know. And we're trying to figure out, is there going to be anything in the hot wash when it comes to 68 after Canelo fights Triple G? We have no idea. But what's interesting about this is Sebastion Fundora, the Towering Inferno, who just came off a very tough fight with Erickson Lubin. He himself, all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? Isn't that a PBC fighter? All of a sudden, you have another PBC fighter that's talking down in competition with the callouts. They're summoning a competitor from a lower division. Is this something that they're talking about behind closed doors that needs to happen? You know what I'm saying? Is it to a point where they say, hey, you can make us some money, just call out so-and-so at the lower division. See, can we make that? Sebastion Fundora is a talented fighter. I do believe he has a lot to work on, but they're moving this guy pretty fast and they think he's the goods. You know what I'm saying? I thought Danny Lewis, who's a very short fighter, I thought he did very well. I thought Jamonte Clark actually won that fight, but he didn't get the nod. And of course, he stopped Nathaniel Gallimore, which I thought that was going to give him a damn good showing. And then you have to look at the aspect of Erickson Lubin going in there and fighting one of the best fights of his boxing career, coming off a Jason Rosario win. But Fundora got the stoppage. He won, and salute to him. But the 154-pound division has hitters in it. They may not be as popular as the guy he's trying to call out at a lower division, Errol Spence. But I'm just saying, what's going on here? Why Sebastion Fundora has to say, okay, ignore everything that's going on with Errol Spence and Crawford. I want to insert my name into the equation. So I'm going to call out Errol Spence. I'm going to try to build up, that small little tornado so people can start tuning in to me. Because nobody's really looking for Sebastion Fundora until he fights. So in order for some of these fighters to actually get that attention they're looking for on the clock, they have to make a call out like this. They have to challenge. They have to reach outside, their comfort zone. They have to reach outside their competing scope when it comes to their division. And, when you're talking about all the hoopla that's going on right now between Crawford and Spence, and all of a sudden Sebastion Fundora comes into the picture and his name started going up with thumbnails. Now, is this fight impossible to happen? No, it's not impossible because boxing doesn't care about what the fans think. I'm talking about the majority owner, 51%. I don't think they give 51% of what the boxing fans think. That's just my opinion, y'all. That's just my opinion when it comes down to it. We can be talking, and hearing all it's getting close, it's getting close, it's getting close. And then all of a sudden, one of these first responders, they come out with the information that Errol Spence and Sebastion Fundora is in talks. Like we haven't been discussing anything else for months and years. Like we haven't been doing that. They'll come out, Errol Spence, Sebastion Fundora in talks. Errol Spence, Sebastion Fundora closing in on the deal. Fundora to face Errol Spence at welterweight. Then all these mainstream outlets, they're gonna start writing on it. As if we just wasn't talking about the mega fight between Crawford and Spence. I hope that's not the case, but I love using my imagination while I still have it intact to put it out there to you, the listeners. That's how this boxing media shit work. That's how media work in general. We'll be talking, debating. You know, people putting out fake ass news, coming up with false ass dates. And then all of a sudden, Sebastion Fundora, Errol Spence in talks. People get on YouTube and start saying, well, let me see. Look, they'd be like a little kid, like they're standing on the sidewalk and they see cars pass by, and they're saying, damn, I need to go across the street, but I just don't know how to do that with all the cars that's coming by. That's how people they're gonna act like a deer in headlights, man. You need to have an understanding that's how boxing works. Now, am I upset any way, shape, or form that Sebastion would take the opportunity to bring light upon himself to call out Errol Spence? No, I'm not. No. Am I upset that Errol Spence really haven't responded to Fundora? Hell no. Because look, for one, I don't think he even find any importance in responding to Sebastion Fundora. To be honest with you. Sir Ken on deck. What's good, Sir Ken? World Combat Sports. Salute to the wrenches and salute to the chats. Smash the like button. Much appreciated. One love to you there, Ken. That's the way I look at it. I'm not mad at Fundora for calling out Spence. I would be more in a sense built in frustration if it was Errol Spence calling out Fundora right now. You know, the frustration meter would kind of tilt heavy to the right because I'm thinking, okay, all this conversation and all this dialogue that's been had, all of a sudden you calling out Fundora. It would be disaster for Errol Spence when it comes to the media. But that's not the case. I know that's not the case. So it's pointless for me to even speak on it. But that's what we have going on. We have fighters in heavier divisions that's choosing to call out fighters in lower divisions. Now, how do we process that? Is it because they don't want to fight, in division that may be tougher competition where they're currently at? Or they may feel like it's no competition that's big enough to make them any money in that division. That's that fighter, man. That's them. We know 154 pounds have some hitters. But are those hitters willing to so-called fight the cheat code? Because they call Fundora the cheat code. This dude is 6'7", fighting at 154 pounds. And people are saying, he's too big. He's too big for the division. Well, all it takes for somebody to do with Erickson Lubin, he's proven he can be touched. He's proven he can be broken down. Do I feel that he can beat Jermall Charlo right now? Absolutely not. Do I feel that Jermall Charlo, if given the opportunity to face Sebastion Fundora, will stop him? I truly believe he will. Because I said Fundora's first loss will be via knockout. I said it months ago. I believe Fundora, when he takes his L, it's not going to be via decision. It's going to be via knockout because he's there. Fundora is extremely tall. His body is right there to be hit. And all it takes for somebody who has enough power to basically start to break that body down, because let's not fool ourselves now like we intoxicated on this shit. Let's not fool ourselves that we under the influence. Fundora's body is fragile. Like, that's a tall, lanky human being. So being that, Jermall is the height he is, I would like to see his body work against Fundora to see if it can, break him down heading into the middle to late rounds. I would like to see, that fight, because it will be an extremely tough fight from Fundora. Real talk, it'll be extremely tough. He would have to go with a whole different game plan and just walking people down. You look at the Erickson Lubin fight, and the distance, that Erickson Lubin was able to go through, and the punishment he took to Jermall Charlo. So he might have some names in the 154-pound division, but I'm not sure if they want to fight Fundora. I'm not totally sure. But for Fundora to say I can make 147 pounds easily at his height, they must have that cheat code when it comes to nutrition too. This weekend, man, we have a light heavyweight, extravaganza that's going on with possibly, bridging the gap a bit towards undisputed. We have Artur Beterbiev and Joe Smith, which is going to be a damn good fight, man. It is. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight. WBC, IBF title holder in the Beterbiev, and the WBO light heavyweight world champion in Joe Smith. I like it. I like it. This is going to be a good fight. I know a lot of people are riding Beterbiev off because of his age of 37. You know what I'm saying? 37, 38. But he's tough, man. He's in a division where you don't have to move around a lot, but the punches are much harder than the lighter divisions. He's just coming off that stoppage with Marcus Brown. So I'm looking forward to that. Joe Smith, he's been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? He's took his loss. He picked up a title. He feels that he's going to be victorious come Saturday night. He feels that. You have Supernova back on deck, a guy that has, he has his fan base, but also, he doesn't have that overall boxing fan base. People know who he is, but they're not just really tuning in to Supernova like that. Like, we was rocking with the mascot that he brought out. I was saying, damn, that shit cool. You know what I'm saying? Who has a mascot to look like them? You know what I'm saying? Ringside, shadow boxing and they're the whole fight. Who has that? And I bet the fans who was sitting in that area was like, God damn, move your big ass out the way. Shit. I'm trying to watch the fight. But not everybody can say, I got a mascot that looked like me. Shout out to Team Jahi Tucker, man. Jahi Tucker's back on deck, man. LeBron James of boxing came on deck, transferred over from the amateurs. Young, out of high school, over to the professional ranks. And he is a blossoming star. What I mean by blossoming star is that looking at him perform in the ring, man, I haven't seen his performances pretty much reciprocate each other. Like I don't see predictability and similarities in his performances. He's fought just about every one of his 7 professional bouts differently. Now I can come up with many scenarios that, okay, Jahi Tucker is working on some shit. You know what I'm saying? Of course they're working on some stuff in the lab. He's working on some stuff and he's just trying to improve his games. Or I can say he has the innate ability to make adjustments on the fly. Because we understand just because we listen to music don't mean we dance alike. Some people can dance differently when it comes to the ring. Of course, the music is different, but when you have a dance partner in a combat sport, it forces you to move different. And I see some of the movement that Jahi Tucker has inside the ring. You have to be blessed. That's not something that they remediate in the gym. You have to have that mindset to make that movement, to elude those punches, to counter shot, to collect data, make adjustments, and keep it pushing. Not only to keep it pushing for Jahi, but he's known to be entertaining. Like he loves entertaining the crowd. He'll talk in the camera. And he kind of, he gives you a show. That's a good selling point when it comes to him picking up a fan base in boxing. You need the entertainment value. You need to be that guy. You need to have that, oh man, I can't wait to Jahi Tucker step in the ring. Man, I know he's going to show out. I wonder what he got for us this time. I just can't wait. You need them to be talking and the chatter to be that. Because they already know he can box. But they want to know what else, what we're going to see this time is different. This young lion right here, man. This young lion dude is super young. And he got mad skills. Let's see what he got next. That's what you should be saying about Jahi Tucker. Dude is a special boxer. And he campaigns at the 147-pound division. Y'all really need to start paying attention to him. It's going to come a time. I know what y'all waiting on, right? I know what y'all waiting on. Y'all wait for him to get 11-0. You know what I'm saying? Y'all waiting 12-0. Y'all wait for him to finally put him with a fighter in the top 15. Y'all just waiting. I'm telling you, you should be on board right now. You should watch his performances right now. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a tough fighter. One thing I can say about his team, they have total confidence in him splitting the ropes, that he's going to go in there and fight for that victory. They don't have to worry about their fighter where it's a mental gap right there, and confidence that they have this smidgen, just like Josh Greer said, right? Josh Greer said this. He said, if you have just this small portion of bitch in you, I'm gonna find it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody on his team believes that he lacks confidence or he has any bitch in him. All they looking forward to him to go in here for what the strategy is and fight his fight and get the W. Now I must repeat, he's in the welterweight division now. I couldn't tell you when they're gonna give him a big name, a top name in the top 15. But what I can say, he's going in there to compete for his 8th professional fight. And you guaranteed that you're gonna get a show. He's a performer. You know what I'm saying? Prize fighting is about showmanship. So you have somebody that can deliver both of that. You know what I'm saying? He has a personality. He has confidence. Man, he has his own style. He does, give it to the audience, give it to his fans. He showboat a little bit in the process of winning the fight. He's not really showboating, hanging out on the outside of the ring, just inactive with his punching combinations or what he's trying to establish on his opponent. He's not just making the fight boring as hell while showing out. You have to encompass everything when it comes to fans gravitating to you. You have to have everything. Some fighters just have it without even really trying to put it together. And some, they just, they have that charisma that goes along with being a respectable, dangerous fighter. You know what I'm saying? And they're a showman. It's going to be points in the fights that you may see them, act a little different, play to the crowd a little bit when they're in a serious fight. We seen Gervonta Davis do that with Rolly. When asked about it, Gervonta said some shit like, man, I was just hyping myself up. That's all. I was just psyching myself up, blah, blah, blah. Talking to his mother, talking to his team. He was telling, I think he was telling Ron to shut the fuck up. This is in defense. Like, he's in a big fight with a bigger fighter, and he's talking. That's pretty much what Jahi does sometimes to the camera. He pretty much talked to him. But all I'm saying is he's going in there for his 8th professional fight this weekend in a 6-rounder versus DeAndre Smith down here in Decatur. I haven't heard anything bad about DeAndre. You know what I'm saying? I really don't have any familiarization with him. Somebody was telling me the other day that I seen him fight at this particular fight card. I don't remember. You know what I'm saying? I just don't remember. I don't even know if I was out there on the floor at that time. I think I was in the back with some other fighters, covering some media shit. But from my understanding, he only has one loss, I believe. Let me double check. I don't know why they haven't. Crazy. That's what I don't get sometimes. I don't know why they haven't even posted his opponent out there on BoxRec yet. But his name is DeAndre Smith. 11-1, 5 knockouts. He just fought in May of 2022 this year. He won the unanimous decision. So, that's going to be Jahi's next opponent, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you another layer to his resume too. All right, while they building up Jahi Tucker. If you look on his resume, Jahi has no losing records of opponents on his resume. His first opponent was 1-1, 1-0, 1-1, 3-1, 3-2, 6-4, 6-1. So they're moving him in the right way, in my opinion. IB on deck. What's good with it, IB? WCS, what up, OG? Salute to you, man. They're moving Jahi Tucker the right way, in my opinion. Why rush him? You know what I'm saying? Because look, the rush is never going to stop. Once you get into the current, because they handed him some solid opponents. Now, these ain't just no weak ass opponents. He's going in there with some solid opponents at this phase of his career. And there ain't nothing to play with, right? My mentality is when you're this young, you don't have to rush him. But once again, being around Team Tucker and their mentality, I know his father believes that Jahi is ready. Jahi believes he's ready. He's been on record as saying, if they throw me a bone, okay, so be it. I'm ready for the bone. That team has a very high limit of confidence, a high depth of confidence, real talk, and his ability to go in here and fight the best at this point in time. But we all know when you sign with a promotion, any promotion, they're going to move you how they move you. You continue to win, they'll continue to put you in. Win, we put you in. Win, we put you in again. Win, we put you in again. That's how it works. You continue to win. Guess what? Boom. More people are going to tune in to you. And that's what we're looking at with Jahi Tucker right now. Real talk. That's what you got going on. He's 7-0, 4 knockouts, and he's going up his 8th professional fight. Y'all definitely stay tuned to that. He's rising through the ranks. I'm telling you, he's rising through the ranks. It's only a matter of time before you see him break into the top 15 for to fight somebody at welterweight. It's gonna happen, man. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. But you know, shout out to Jay Prince. You know, shout out to Showtime. Shout out to his father. You know, Coach Tucker. Shout out to Jahi Tucker himself, his brother Molly, and the entire team that's over there. You know what I'm saying? The entire team that's over there getting him prepared. They've been in the trenches, you know what I'm saying, in the fighting hole, getting ready for this fight. Because every fight for him, people look, you think people's not tuned in to what he has going on, but they are. A lot of people are tuned in to what Jahi has going on, but they just not co-signing him yet for some reason. You know what I'm saying? They not across the board just co-signing him like they should. Why? Because they trying to figure out, welterweight division, that's ran by different names. Crawford, Spence, Thurman, Ugas, Virgil Ortiz, Jerron Ennis, Danny Garcia. I don't know if he's still down there. He's good on 54. Sean Porter, if he chooses to come. You know, it's common names have been running a welterweight division. So Jahi's in a tough division, and people haven't started to co-sign him yet because they still looking. You know what I'm saying? They looking. They're gonna be looking this weekend. They looking and looking, and then all of a sudden you're gonna see people. Hey, that kid Jahi Tucker, man, that's a young hit in the game. Y'all need to start paying attention to. Y'all need to really, close distance a little bit, see what he got going on. Dude is a talent. I'm telling you, he got skills. They're going to try to wait till he, get 10, 11 fights in. But, from what I've seen the man spar. Man, he's a tough dude, man. And one thing about him, his confidence barometer, man, it's through the roof. Like, it's not egotistical, arrogant type shit. It's just he believe in his skills right now. You know what I'm saying? He believe in going in there and showing that he belongs there. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. He believes he belonged there. If you haven't heard, Canelo Alvarez and Triple G is about to begin their press tour. If y'all in the building, hit the like button. DBMH on deck. I see you, bro. So if you don't know, Canelo Alvarez, I'm pretty sure y'all know who that is, right? Canelo Alvarez is set to split the ropes once again in a trilogy versus Gennady Golovkin. I'm about to take you on a little rodeo. I've heard people criticize this fight. I've criticized this fight. Even though it lines up the same way that Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder had their trilogy. Their first fight was a draw. Then they rematched. Canelo won this rematch. And then they're about to rematch again. The same thing that happened with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Same thing. There's good and bad to this. A lot of times in the sport this day and time, you don't get trilogies. You don't get trilogies. It's become a rare commodity to get trilogies, man, for somebody to fight 3 freaking times. And plus, people who fight 3 times and their name means something. We're still waiting on Juan Estrada and Roman Gonzalez to fight a 3rd time. You rarely get the 3rd fight. Fighters would sit up here and fight somebody one time and move the fuck on. I'm gone, man. We got 2 out of Alida Alvarez and Sergey Kovalev. You rarely get that trilogy and rarely sometimes get the rematch. We just seen a rematch with Jermall Charlo and Brian Castano. But with this fight right here, why the criticism boils over is that they feel like since Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin fought, that shit was way back in 2017. We're currently in 2022, and we've basically experienced a pandemic, right? They fought back in 2017 for the first time. And it is so much shit that's went on since then. They fought September 2017 to a draw. A split decision draw. I mean, a split decision. What I'm talking about, I mean, people act like they don't understand what this means, where I'm going with this shit. A split decision draw. This is when we felt that they was on the same, they was on the same peak, so to speak, or competitive edge. They had all the energy immersed around their split decision draw. People still to this day, they say, Canelo won, Triple G won. Canelo won, Triple G won. Triple G won. They don't know who won. So guess what? They came back in September 2018 and Canelo won, settled the score, right? 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. We're in 2022, 4 years later. And Canelo chose to fight Gennady Golovkin, who's gotten much older now. Gennady Golovkin, people, let me break the news to you. Gennady Golovkin is 40 years old. Gennady Golovkin is now 40 years old, people. I'm breaking the news to you. He's 9 years older than Canelo Alvarez. Gennady Golovkin is 40 years old now. So let's take out the spreadsheet and let's notate some analytics here. All right. As far as wear and tear on the body, we can totally agree that Gennady Golovkin has wear and tear on his body since the AMs all the way over to professional. We know that. Number two, we can understand in our analytical breakdown that Gennady Golovkin, though he has a big name, he hasn't looked that great. He hasn't looked that great from his separation from Canelo Alvarez since his 2018 loss. He hasn't looked that great. All right. Three, in our analytical perspective, is that Gennady Golovkin chose to stay at home in the middleweight division. Canelo Alvarez, franchise, chose to move away. Gennady Golovkin stayed right there. During the time that he remained in the middleweight division, he did minimal. Not too recently, he chose to fight Yoda Murata, who had been out the sport for 2 years, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, goddamn, dog, you was literally on the porch in the rocking chair, just chilling in the middleweight division. Because a lot of people thought that Gennady Golovkin absolutely did not win that Sergey Derevyanchenko fight. But he ended up earning a unanimous decision. And then what we was looking at, that boring ass Camille Zerameta fight. Oh man, come on. Nobody wasn't looking at that. You know what I'm saying? No, nobody was looking at that for real. Nobody. But now, 4 years later, Canelo Alvarez selects to face Triple G, 40-year-old Triple G in a trilogy, when he has the middleweight titles, where he can just say, hey, I want to fight David Benavidez. He is the only champion that Canelo didn't defeat while he was going for undisputed. I know people are going to sit up here and run it through their mind and say, well, WCS, here we go again, WCS. He didn't have a belt. He fucked up on the scale. He was doing drugs, and he was just wasn't taking it serious. Okay. So how long are you all going to keep that in play? But y'all get all butthurt when Canelo's clenbuterol situation comes to the surface. We understand that Canelo is the undisputed super middleweight champion. And also we understand there's better competition in his campaign division that he can fight. But he want to fight a guy that's moving up for the first time, that's 40 years old, out of the division that he's campaigned in majority of his boxing career. And for the first time at 40 years old, you're going to come up here and fight a guy who's coming off a loss from a light heavyweight. Now, somebody told me, somebody mentioned in my chat last time that, Canelo's coming off a loss from Bivol, and this is a good fight. Somewhat to insinuate or somewhat to assume that it's good for him coming off a fight with Bivol to take Gennady. No, Canelo is past that point. Canelo is past that point to say, I need a tune-up from fighting somebody at light heavyweight. He don't need that shit. It's Canelo Alvarez at the end of the day. He's pretty locked in, I believe. After that loss, the fight of Gennady Golovkin, who's been in the ring with twice already. Right or wrong? Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Salute to you, OG. How you feeling? Say salute, my brother at World Combat Sports. Salute to you there, Bruce. Shelton Moore in the building. What's good, Shelton? He don't need a tune-up. For anybody to insinuate, okay, he needs a tune-up before he really faced a 168-pounder. No, not at all. Because, look, if anything he learned in that fight with Dimitri Bivol is that whatever Eddie Reynoso was remediating over and over again, that plan needs to change. They fucked up. Canelo fucked up. Eddie Reynoso fucked up. Because you are moving up to a division that you're not a natural light heavyweight, and you're attempting to go in there and punch the shoulder and the arm. And Bivol was like, that's adorable. Stop it. He wasn't even affected by that right punch that Canelo was, that little right hook to the damn deltoid and the damn tricep. He wasn't worried about that shit. He said, oh, cool, here we go again. Canelo's punching me in the arm. Oh, okay. The dude was just too strong. Both physically and mentally, he was too strong for Canelo. He was extremely smart. Are we expecting some type of danger, like the Bivol type danger, when Triple G steps at him with Canelo? I'm not. I don't know about you, but I'm not. At 40 years old, I think this is the worst Triple G is going to look. Real talk. And then the only way he doesn't look like a train wreck is the fact that Canelo takes it easy on him. Just like he was, he wasn't overly aggressive with Caleb Plant. But once again, I must elucidate that point. I know Caleb Plant had better footwork, which may be a determining factor in him stepping in here with Gennady Golovkin, who doesn't. Gennady Golovkin's skill set is tailor-made to take punishment. This fight, real talk, is tailor-made for him to take serious punishment. I'm just telling you, 40 years old, 31 years old, Canelo, 40 years old, 31 years old, it's going to be a problem. Real talk, this fight is going to be a problem for Triple G. I don't see no upset. I don't see any residual effect that bleeds over from light heavyweight to super middleweight that Bivol was able to inflict upon Canelo Alvarez, and all of a sudden Canelo isn't up the isn't up the code just because he lost to a light heavyweight. I don't know. When they say fighters start to show their age in the ring, The unique part about that riddle is it doesn't necessarily mean the age that you are in life, your birth date, your birth age. It doesn't. It can considerably be defined as your boxing age. Your boxing age adds years to your life. You know what I'm saying? We truly don't know how many years. It depends on the rigors of what you've experienced in your boxing career up to this point. You can take an extreme amount of punishment and you can have those years tacked on to your life where you feel it. When you're not in the ring, you feel it. And then it gets to the point like, I feel it, but I know how to get past it. I'm still young. I'm good. But man, God damn, it's getting a little bit more tougher for me. God damn. And then you put some more years on that shit. You in the ring and certain things you used to be able to fluently, execute. It's become a bit more difficult. The degree of difficult is right now upon you. And you can't shake that shit off like you used to. I think when it comes down to it, we've already seen that with Gennady Golovkin, but people haven't really seen it with Canelo Alvarez. You have to look at the time he lost with Floyd Mayweather to the time he lost to Dimitri Bivol. It's been extremely a long window in between that. So for Gennady to go ahead 40 years old, he has tread on his body. He's taken punishment. He his moniker was Big Drama Show. Even though on his record, y'all, he only has one loss to the one and only Canelo Alvarez. He's sitting at 42-1-1. Both his loss and his draw is from the same person. Just like Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder's only lost to one fighter. He has a draw on his record and 2 losses that both came from Tyson Fury. Gennady Golovkin still gets a little bit more Wall Street added to him because his record is 42-1-1. He lost to Canelo and he had a draw with Canelo. They still have his knockout percentage at over 80%. That's why people in a strange way are going to tune into this motherfucking fight, y'all. Real talk. They're going to tune into this fight. They might not tune in droves, but they're going to tune in to this fight. I appreciate everyone for pulling up. It's always a pleasure. Y'all hit the like button on the way out. You know what I'm saying? Continue to support the channel and turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. I'm out.